Um, so I know you're here for our webinar. So exciting. I'm so happy to see you guys here. I'm gonna give it another minute or two before we get started so we reach like critical mass, and then I'll introduce myself and tell you a little bit about how to teach English in Barcelona. Exciting stuff. Okay, so yeah, I'll pause for a moment and then we'll continue in like 1 to 2 minutes, okay? Okay, we'll give it 1 more minute before we start, okay? I promise we'll start very, very soon. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start. This is giving me like Zoom school throwback. I don't know if that's like aging myself, but when I was in college, I had to do college partly in Zoom because of COVID, and it was not fun. So I think we should just go ahead and get started. So cool. Thank you guys so much for coming. My name is Brianna. So I'm the head coordinator here at TEFL Iberia. And we just wanted to kind of put together a virtual event for everyone to come here and learn about how you can teach English abroad. So funny enough about me, I did this program. So I actually am from San Francisco originally, and I moved from San Francisco all the way to Barcelona, Spain about a year ago. And I went through TEFL Iberia's program. So I got the TEFL certification. I had a background in English and finance, and then I was teaching. And now I did like a full circle, and now I'm back. So enough about me, but that's just to tell you that that's a little bit about my experience. Let's see what we're talking about today. So what we're covering today. So obviously, welcome, introduction. Want to tell you a little bit about what you need to do our program, what our program really is, different options that we offer for you to come here to Spain to teach and to get some experience, the types of teaching jobs that our trainees get, the salary and the cost of living. So how much money are you expected to earn as a teacher here in Barcelona, as well as how much does it cost to live here? Accommodation options, which are always fun. So like where you're going to be living on your journey here. Community and support. So I'll tell you a little bit about our kind of teaching community here in Barcelona, and then tell you about the visa process, which is not as bad as you think it is. And then we'll just have a bit of like Q&A. So if anything comes up, I'll be addressing everything at the very end of the presentation. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So who are we? We're TEFL Iberia. We are the largest Trinity Cert TESOL provider in Spain. So last year, we trained 100 people, and a lot of them came on student visas. So if you're not an EU citizen and you want to come here and you want to teach in Spain for more than, let's say, like 6-7 months, then you would need a long-term student visa. But we've been around since 2012. So if you see Richard on the presentation, that's actually my manager. So he's actually the founder of TEFL Iberia. So he started teaching English in Spain, opened this school, and has been helping other people come here and do the same. And we've helped thousands of students from many different countries come here to Barcelona to learn how to teach the English language professionally. So what do you need to actually do this course? First of all, you need to be over 18. So I'm going to assume most of you guys are over 18, you need to thrive in multicultural environments. So obviously you're going to be here, but you're going to be surrounded by people from Australia, from the UK, from the US, from India, for example. And you're going to be in Spain, which is already a super international city. So being comfortable with that is really, really helpful. You must demonstrate a proactive and solution-oriented mindset. What does that basically mean? Just be someone who's a self-starter, right? Be someone who's looking for solutions and not problems. Someone who is really willing to like work with your students and work with yourself as you're going through this program to really learn like, how can I show up as my best version, as in like a best teacher trainee, best student, so on and so forth. You also do need an advanced level of English proficiency, but you don't need to be a native speaker. So if you're sitting here and you're wondering, should I do this, but my first language was something else, it wasn't English? Yeah, you definitely can. You do need to have a pretty high level of English proficiency, but it does not need to be your first language. You also obviously should show some enthusiasm for teaching and learning. So you're going to be doing both. In our program, you're going to be a teacher trainee, so you're going to be learning how to actually teach, but you're also going to be practicing the role of teacher. So you're both student and teacher at the same time. Number 6, possess an ability to thrive in fast-paced learning environments. You guys are all in university, so I'm sure you'll be fine with this. But yeah, this course is intense and academically rigorous. So you have to be very on top of your time management skills and just be willing to ask for help and ask questions as needed. And then number 7, be in good physical and mental health to meet the demands of daily teaching. Of course, if you have a disability, if something's going on, if you're on any medications, like let us know. And obviously we take that into account. But yeah, just really making sure that you can commit to a full teaching timetable for the entirety of the 4-week program or the length of your program, which could be up to 12 months. Okay, so your TEFL training, you're going to have really small groups. We try to keep them small so that everybody has equal access to our instructors and our tutors. But you're going to have exposure to many different teaching styles. So we teach you different methods of, for example, teaching grammar, drilling pronunciation, introducing vocabulary. So it's really fun because we keep things fresh and interesting, and you get to kind of pick and choose what really gels with you and your own teaching style. We also obviously work with you in terms of building that classroom confidence. So teaching English is really different than just speaking English, obviously, because teaching something and knowing something are two very different things, right? You've probably had those experiences in your life. So there's that component of like, we're going to help you and turn you into essentially a teacher, which means that you kind of have to master the art of public speaking, of giving a presentation, of memorizing names, for example. We also connect you to post-grad job prospects. So we make sure that all of our students who want jobs find jobs. That said, we don't guarantee job placement per se, just because it's really hard to guarantee anything. But if you come, especially, and I'll talk about this later, during certain peak hiring times in the year, I've seen people get jobs in 2 weeks. And that's honestly a really good scenario. So if you are interested, we have partners all over Barcelona who come directly to us to ask about teachers because they're hiring. And then finally, you have the internationally recognized qualification. So we are accredited by Trinity College London. So they're the ones that ultimately issue you your certificate, and that is valid for the rest of your life. You can put that on your resume, on your CV, and you can teach here in Barcelona, you can teach in the United States, you could teach in Japan. This is an internationally like gold standard recognized certification. So you don't have to worry about this, being wishy-washy. It is pretty much as legit as it gets. Okay, so what do we actually offer? So I think the core offering that we give most people is the 4-week Trinity Cert TESOL course. So this is really what I have been kind of like alluding to, is if you're interested in coming and you have no teaching experience, you want to learn, you want to put yourself out there, and you want to be in Barcelona, but maybe cannot commit to being here for like 6, 7, 12 months. I would start with the Trinity Cert TESOL. So I did this course. So I'm actually Trinity Cert TESOL certified. Like I mentioned, I taught English here in Barcelona, so I've done like the full arc, you can say. And I really love it. Like, I'll talk more about my own experiences, but this is a really great starting point if you want to get some experience teaching, or maybe you have some informal experience, but you want a formal certification. But we also offer our developing teacher and Spanish course, which we offer in a 7 to 12-month format, and you do need a student visa for that. This is really good because it's kind of like a continuation of the first course that we offer. Let's say you want to do your 4-week course to get certified, but you want to stay in Barcelona a bit longer and you really want to like kind of enjoy the culture, enjoy the life here, teach, and experience that kind of aspect of work and travel, then I would highly recommend looking at developing teacher in Spanish. And yeah, this is basically like a 2-in-1 course. So you would have access to our school through the developing teacher part. So this is where we offer basically like office hours with our tutors, where you can learn and get support as you're kind of like ongoing and kind of establishing yourself as a teacher here in Barcelona. But we also offer Spanish classes through our partner academy. So our partner academy is a really great, really well-known Spanish school here in Barcelona, and you would be taking Spanish with them. Obviously, you would get a level test, so we'd know exactly where to put you, and your enrollment letter would basically come from them, which is really great because basically means that you're here to learn Spanish and honestly, just really enjoy your time. We also offer accommodation, which I will talk about. This is optional. We offer a young learners extension course. So if you're really keen on working with children specifically, which I think is a huge market here in Spain, I know it's a huge market, then we do offer this extension course. It's essentially like a 3-day long extension course where you will get hands-on experience working with children and just kind of like more or less like teenagers, preteens. And then we offer bureaucracy service and airport pickup and cultural activities. So bureaucracy service, we help you with the visa process before you get to Barcelona and after. Airport pickup, self-explanatory, and cultural activities, we plan really fun stuff for you guys to come do while you're here in Barcelona. So you might be asking yourself, okay, you mentioned jobs, but what kind of jobs are we talking about? So most of our graduates go straight into language academies here in Barcelona. So you can teach kids, teens, and adults. And this genuinely, honestly follows the September to June arc when it comes to the school year. So you'd start in September and you more or less like finish up around middle of June. We also have people who go into in-company business English classes. So I taught business English classes through my language academy. So it was kind of like I got a 2-in-1. I was employed by a language academy. They offered English classes to people in different areas of like business. And I did that. So if you're interested, you can also do that. And you'd obviously be just working with adults. A lot of our students also, and some of our tutors also have private students. So yes, if you have a TEFL certification, you can teach one-to-one, or you can also arrange for your own small groups. This obviously would be something that you would arrange independently, but think of yourself as kind of like an independent contractor. You can kind of set up your own rates, your own hours. It's really flexible, and you pretty much manage everything. And then we also have people who teach both online and in person. So a lot of people like to mix the two. I actually taught online as well through my language academy. So I had students based in Madrid, but I was in Barcelona. So I would meet with them on Zoom for like 4 hours a week. And it was really nice. I mean, I would just kind of get up from my bed, get dressed, drink some coffee, and then 8:30, I'd have my laptop on and be ready to teach. So that's to kind of show you the mix of classes that you could be teaching. Okay, now we get to the big question, how much does this all cost? So the Trinity Sir TEFL course, which is like your 4-week course, we have 2 different prices for it. One is 650, one is 1,800. So 1,800 is the full price, but we do offer an early bird price, which is 1,650. Early bird meaning if you can pay for the course in full, 4 weeks in advance before you actually get here and start your course, then you can pay 1,650 instead of 1,800. We also, like I mentioned, offer developing teacher and Spanish. So if you wanted to do the full 1 year and you want to have a student visa that spans the entire year, that's 3,300 euro. But this also, like, this chart really shows you kind of a comprehensive cost of like all of it, which I think is really helpful because these two really are like the core of your tuition with us. But for example, you will have to apply for a visa if you want to stay in Barcelona for a year. So how much are the visa fees? Depends on your consulate. They're more or less between 100 to 200 euro. You do have to sign up for health insurance for your year that you're here, which is somewhere around 600 euro. There's a criminal background check you have to do. You do also have to translate your document. So if you do a background check, that has to get translated into Spanish. You also get the option of accommodation. So I'm going to talk more about it. So if you wanted accommodation, let's say you're coming here for 4 weeks and you just want 4 weeks, it could be somewhere around like 750, I believe. Then we got living costs, which I'll talk more about, but more or less like if you've traveled to Europe, especially Barcelona, you've probably seen that it's a lot cheaper than the United States or the UK and a lot of other places. So I'd say around 650 is pretty decent. Depends on your lifestyle, of course, but I would say it takes a lot less to live here comfortably because the cost of rent, the cost of food is way cheaper, at least compared to San Francisco. Your flight to Barcelona depends on your flight, depends on your seat, right? I highly recommend Level Airlines. So I've flown with them before. Nothing fancy, but they'll get you here and they have really great prices for their intercontinental flights. And then we offer airport pickup. Okay, so telling you a little bit more about salary and cost of living. Most teachers, when they say they have a full timetable, it's somewhere around 20 to 25 hours a week that they're teaching. And I would say that the take-home salary is more or less between 1,200 to 1,600 euro. And your cost of living, like I said, subjective. So if you like to be bougie, obviously it would be more, but I would say an average single room in a shared apartment, right here, you can see it's around 500 euro. You could get between like 500 to like 650, depending on the area that you're in. So let's look at this like little chart thing. So salaries, I would say Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia, yeah, somewhere around, I would say nowadays, the average I'm hearing is around like 16 euro an hour for a teacher with no experience. In company classes, get a bit more money. Private classes is really where the money is. I'd say I've seen people charging more or less around 20 euro an hour. And then online depends. You get to put your price on that, but it's around, I'd say like 15 euro. Yep, cost of living, you got it. Groceries, 200 euro a month. And I can attest to that. You really don't spend a lot of money here on groceries. Your phone could even be less than that. I have a plan that costs like 10 euro a month. Transportation depends on how much transportation, but yeah, aim around 25 euro. And then eating out and then dining and entertainment, somewhere around 350 is fine. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So accommodation. So I've been talking a little bit about how accommodation works. If you don't want to deal with foreign landlords and the thought of that stresses you out, I agree. We offer accommodation services through us. So these are the average monthly costs for our accommodation services. So they're about between 4 weeks to 12 months. So if you were coming here for the 4-week course, I usually recommend going with the 4 weeks, which puts you at 750. But let's say you're doing a long course and you want to do 12 weeks, it's around 2,000. But then actually like the questions about the accommodation that I get the most often are like, who am I living with? And they'd be 2 to 3 other roommates. They're either students who are on your course, students who just finished the course, or we also offer homestays. All the flats are really modern. You will have your own room and your own privacy and access to all of the shared spaces, obviously. And they're all within 30 minutes walking or public transportation. And honestly, I think this is like the safest option. If you are, very adventurous and courageous and you want to go out there and arrange your own accommodation, that's great. But I have never heard anything negative about our accommodation. And we have our own dedicated accommodations coordinator. Her name is Tracy. She's super awesome. And she's just really good at managing everything. So you would have someone here at the school who would be your main point of contact instead of some like weird landlord, So yeah, that's our accommodation service. Community and support. Okay, so this is, I guess, where I wanted to give a little bit of a spiel. Well, not a long one, but just a short one about like what our school does and like why we're important, why we're different. Obviously, it's just like the people to people connection, and it sounds super cheesy, but it's true. Like I love coming here and being surrounded by people who are just so nice and so excited to like learn and teach and help others, because if you're surrounded by people who are all interested in like teaching, for example, like you're surrounded by really good people. So all the people in my cohort were super nice, super smart. I learned from them. They learned from me. And it's just a really great way of kind of plugging yourself into a community and not feeling isolated as you move to a different country. So if you've ever thought about moving abroad and you were like, but like, who am I going to know? Like, this is a really good way of doing that. Like, we're obviously here as a team at TEFL Iberia to help support you, but I've seen so many beautiful friendships come out of this course and come out of the time that people have had here. Like, I've just watched the trainees in April just, get to know each other and chat and go out for lunch and coffee. And it's really cute to see. And I've made really good friends that I'm still in contact with from my course. So big plug for that. This is a really good way of plugging yourself into a well-established and really lovely community of teachers and students. Okay, so now we're going to address the big and scary. How do I get my student visa? And I promise it's not as scary as it sounds. So basically, you first got to start off by applying for our course. Let's say you apply for the course, we do your little interview, everything goes well. I start to help you get through that visa process. You would have to book an appointment and gather all the documents listed on your consulate website. We also have student guides to help people get on track and stay on top of like any deadlines. And we know exactly what paperwork it is that you're going to need. So you'll have us working with you side by side to make sure that process is really smooth. And then let's say you submit your visa, everything is great, you get it back, it's in your passport, you collect your visa, book your flight and come here to Spain. And once you're here in Spain, you can apply for a foreigner identity card, which is basically like your ID in Spain, and you can start working. But the most important part is that visa decisions are typically made within 1 to 2 months. So please, please, please start early. Be sure to begin the visa process at least 3 months before you are starting your course. And I'll talk more about this, but it's just really important so that you don't end up with any like last minute stress. And that's what we're here for. We're here to help guide you, but ultimately you are in charge of making sure that your application goes in on time. So I think just being really proactive, asking a lot of questions, like use me and our team as a resource and you'll be fine. Okay, so if you're listening and you've listened this far and you're like, okay, Brianna, I get it. Cool. Like, what do I do? You just need to complete your application. So on our website, TEFL-Iberia.com, there's an application form. You will fill it out. I will contact you to set up an interview. There's also a pre-interview language task that you would need to complete. But of course, you've already seen me. The interview is going to be, pretty straightforward, very chill. It's really just to get to know you and for you to get to know the course and the expectations. Let's say all is well, you get offered a place in one of our courses, then we start to prepare the visa documentation if you're coming here for more than just the 4-week course. And let's say you get your visa, welcome to Barcelona. Okay, guys, so that's pretty much it. I will stop yapping because I know I've taken up a lot of your time, but thank you guys so much. This is basically our student guide. So if you're interested in learning more about our program, like in depth, maybe, looking at just the logistics a bit more, I'd recommend looking at the student guide. If you haven't looked at our website, this is a QR for our website. Got our email, website, Instagram, TikTok. And funny enough, this girl in the yellow dress, that's me. So I actually did this course and I can prove it. Okay. So that pretty much is all I had. I think we want to open it up to you guys. Does anyone have any questions, any comments, anything that is like pressing, urgent? You have the option, I think, to put things into the chat if you haven't already. And I have not been looking at it, but I can look at it. Okay, I'm just going to start trying to answer what I see on the chat. So I'm starting with Lada because that's the first one I see. Can you stay for less than a year? Yes, you can. So if you want to do the 4-week course, that's great. You can just stay here and you don't need a visa. If you're a US citizen or UK citizen, for example, if you want to do 7 months, you can do 7 months as well. So there's a long-term student visa, but just for 7. So this is something that honestly I feel like is a really good question. You don't have to commit to 12 months. If you want to do less than that, yes, you can do less. I'm trying to see any other questions. You feel free to type in the chat. Okay, Lily, I see you. If we're no longer a student and graduating this summer, can we get a student visa? Is it more for young people, or do you have to be a student? No. So actually, you don't have to be like a university or college student to do it. It's like just making sure you're a student of a course here in Barcelona. So, for example, I had already been working my corporate job and I had been out of school for a little while, but I applied for this program, got accepted, and therefore I became a student. So if you're graduating this summer, you can still definitely get a student visa. Let's see, anything else? Okay, I'm seeing someone saying, got a Peruvian passport, hold a bachelor's, love teaching. Yeah, you definitely can. I think especially a lot of folks who come from Latin America, like obviously with like the heritage connection to Spain, we see people come from all over the world. So if you've got a Peruvian passport, I think you're pretty good. Would love to see you and would love to get your application and talk more about your particular situation. Okay, let's see, Lara, if I already have a TESL certificate, do we offer services for job placement? People, okay, so if you already have a TEFL certificate, you can jump straight into developing teacher in Spanish. So I kind of already talked about it, but for example, the 7 to 12 month developing teacher in Spanish, if you already have a certificate or a lot of teaching experience, you can jump right into this one. And part of what we offer in that package is a job help with the placement. So we can help you get a job here. And you can just kind of skip the whole Trinity or TESOL thing and go straight into developing teacher in Spanish. Okay, is it in Barcelona only, or do we have a branch in Madrid or other cities? Yeah, it's only in Barcelona. I'm so sorry. I wish we did have a branch in Madrid. Richard, let's talk. Like maybe we could open it up in the future, but as of right now, we're just located in sunny, beautiful Barcelona. Any other questions? I can also give you guys like a quick tour of the school. I'm sitting here, so I'm happy to just like walk around and kind of show it to you if you want to. Let's see, anything else? Okay. Jobs only available in Barcelona. Yes. So you can find jobs pretty much anywhere in the globe with this, but our community of partner academies is here in Barcelona. So we focus primarily on getting you plugged in here. But if you want to go teach in Madrid, for example, you can definitely do that. I'm going to give you guys a quick tour because why not? If you're still here, let's take a look. So this is our coordinator's office. This is where I do my job. Let's see if I can show you around. Okay, so we've got our classrooms. So around this hour is when people are coming here to learn Spanish primarily. So these are our Spanish classes because we also offer Spanish classes. This is our front desk, our reception. This is our bulletin board. So we put up pretty much everything that's going on in our like student photos. That's me. We got some snacks. This is where you would be. So this is our library area. So you've got access to our computers, our Wi-Fi. We've also got obviously a printing station, more classrooms, kitchen. Will find me in here quite often. Oh yeah, our activities board. So we do offer like trips and things like that I mentioned. So this beautiful town is called Cadaqués. We've got Girona, Gótico walking tour. So yeah, this is basically where you'd be spending most of your time. We've got some comfy seating areas, fire escape, more classrooms, and back to my office. So we've got 2 more classrooms in addition to that. So that's basically it. That's our school. It's beautiful. It's also really located very, very close to Sagrada Familia. So if you guys are familiar with Barcelona, Sagrada Familia is like the big, beautiful church. And it's gorgeous. Okay, let's see. Any other questions that I can address? Let's see. Let me go down. Okay. Beautiful place. Is there real demand for English? Yes, absolutely. All of these classrooms can be full at any given time of people who are trying to be here and learn English. in Barcelona is a bit lower than in other European countries. So for that reason, demand for English teachers can be pretty high, especially in Barcelona. Okay, any other last questions? You want to type in the chat, reach out to me. Going once, going twice. I see someone typing. I'll give you another second. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Woo! Okay, thank you guys so much. It was so lovely to talk to you. Remember, if you're interested, please, please, please reach out to me. Sign up for that application. We're also offering a little bit of a discount. So if you got this far, if you want to sign up and you're really excited, and you mentioned to me that you came to this webinar, you get €100 off of your tuition. So mention the webinar, get your €100, get your application in. Thank you guys so much. Bye. Take care.